The Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC has been out for a couple of weeks now. I've spent a lot of hours with it, completed all of the Tier 4 career challenges, made over $5 million with the business, and unlocked the Canis Castigator. So I think I've put enough time into this DLC and into the business to give my full thoughts on it. So let's go through and talk about the good and the bad about every single part of this update. Of course, first things first, the biggest thing that came in this update was the business. The Bail Enforcement Office is the newest business in the game, and with it came 24 types of bounties, 6 most wanted bounties and 18 normal bounties. Normal bounties will pay you between $35,000 and $40,000, and the most wanted bounties will pay you over $120,000 to about $130,000. So let's talk about the most wanted bounties first. These are actually really cool missions, and I enjoyed playing through them all for the first time. Some of these introduced some uncommon mechanics in GTA Online and some things that I weren't really expecting, which was nice. For example, your truck getting blown up and you have to escort the bounty target back to the backup truck. Breaking into the LS car meet was cool. Breaking into the Life Invader offices was cool. Breaking out of the O'Neill farm was cool without weapons as well. But you probably noticed something already just with those few sentences that I said, and that's that all of these bounties are just taking us to locations that we've been before. And we'll touch more on that shortly, don't worry. The most wanted bounties can only be done once every 24 hours as well, which we'll also discuss in a little bit. The business also brought 18 normal bounty targets, which I mentioned before, but that is a little bit misleading. Really, there's only 6 different types of normal bounties, and each of those missions have 3 different possible bounty targets that can spawn, which 3 times 6 is 18. But really, it's just 6. For example, there's 3 different targets that have the last name Duggan. All of them are technically different targets, because they're different people, but they are the exact same mission. So long story short, we have 6 different most wanted target missions, and 6 different normal bounty target missions. The normal bounty missions are fine. They're okay, they're cool. They're easily farmable missions that have you go to a location on the map and complete one of 6 different objectives. These objectives are: hack a CCTV box and find your target, then take them back to the office, investigate a prison bus to locate the escaped target, blow things up outside a rich person's house, break into a Duggan arcade, break into a Lost MC clubhouse, and stop a bank robber. As I said, these are fine. They're nothing new, and again, mostly just consist of taking us to locations we've been 100 times before. With that said, they are content you can just kind of turn your brain off to and grind. I know a lot of people actually enjoy that type of content. Plus, it helps that you can use any vehicle you like in these missions instead of just driving your van all the way across the map, so you can use your Oppressor Mark II, and basically just speed through these missions. You can only do the normal bounties once per hour though, unlike the most wanted targets, which is once per day, but still, this can kind of be really annoying, considering that you can probably complete all 3 of these normal bounties within about 15 minutes, and then you have to wait another 45 minutes to be able to do them again. And don't worry, I'll rant about the cooldowns in a minute, but let's talk about the last part of the business, which is the agents. You can buy up to 2 agents and you can send them out once every 48 minutes. Think of them as something like Rooster in your hangar or your warehouse technicians in your crate warehouses. You send them out, they'll come back 48 minutes later with money. How much money? $5,000 to $10,000 each, and they'll put that money in your safe. Again, nothing really groundbreaking here, we've seen this before. Okay, let's talk about the cooldowns, the big elephant in the room. I copped a little bit of flack on Twitter for saying that I actually enjoyed this DLC the day it came out. And here's the thing, I do enjoy grinding this business. I wouldn't have got $5 million in the first couple of weeks with it if I didn't enjoy it. The best part of the business, of course, is the most wanted missions, which actually provide some pretty decent kind of new content, unlike the normal bounties, which are a lot less evolved, advanced, whatever you want to call them. But as time went on, and over the couple weeks, I continued to grind these every day. Yeah, these cooldowns are a massive issue. Rockstar really introduced this type of cooldown back in December with the salvage yard, and I did a massive rant video on what I thought about that then, so let me just kind of echo those thoughts here. Cooldowns absolutely suck. Don't get me wrong, I do understand cooldowns in certain situations. For example, the Contract has a 48-minute cooldown. Cayo Perico has a 2.5-hour cooldown, which is way too long in my opinion. It should be about 1 hour, but maybe that's a topic for another day. Anyway, Cooldowns, they have a purpose. Their purpose is that Rockstar doesn't want players grinding out the exact same way of making money over and over and over and over again. People were doing that with Cayo Perico since 2020 for about 2 years straight, making $100 million in like a week and then complaining that the game is boring because they have too much money, they can just do whatever they want, and then they just drop the game. So while that sucks, having a massive cooldown, I do understand it because, yes, there is so much stuff to do in GTA Online, purely from a game design point of view. Just repeating one or two activities over and over and over again for hours straight gets boring really fast, and Rockstar introduced these cooldowns so that we couldn't do that anymore. But here's the thing, cooldowns on things like the contract, Cayo Perico, are in place because you can make so much money with those, like a crazy amount of money. The problem I have with the salvage yard robberies, and also the bail bounty business, is that they're okay ways to make money, but they're not the best in the game. So why introduce a cooldown? I fully understand why a lot of players are saying, I spent $5 million on this business and I can only make like $100,000 from it per hour. That's horrible. And yeah, it is. Look man, honestly, I could even understand them having the 1 day cooldown on the most wanted targets. But why do we also have a 1 hour cooldown on just these normal bounty targets that only pay $30,000? It doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. It's artificial game lengthening, AGL as people call it. Basically just an artificial way to make you have to play the game longer to get the results that you want. Which sucks, because I really like the most wanted bounties. I think they're cool missions that I'd like to be able to do more often. And the normal bounty targets could have been a really cool farmable way to get money. So to sum up my thoughts on the business, content, pretty decent. Cooldowns, very bad, which unfortunately brings the business down to meh, okay. Not great, which honestly it could have been. It could have been great. Next we have dispatch work for Vincent. Okay, let's get into it. Dispatch missions are what has previously been called vigilante missions in older GTA games, where you get in a cop car and basically play as a cop. There's 4 different types of vigilante or dispatch. I'm never gonna not call them vigilante missions, okay? That's just what I'm gonna call them. There's 4 different types of vigilante missions, which make you do things like kill 3 lieutenants, defuse bombs, retrieve a drug package, and take it back to Vincent. You get it. Simple cop stuff. And again, the first few times I did this, I had a lot of fun. Driving around in a cop car, role-playing as a cop, and the pay wasn't that bad. $25,000 for something that only takes you a few minutes is pretty decent. I don't even really have a massive issue with the 5-minute cooldown, though it wouldn't be bad if it was removed. I don't think there needs to be a cooldown. But after I started to play these missions more and fully understood how these work, I will admit, I think they're a bit of a letdown. There's a few reasons for that, let's talk about it. Number 1, again, the elephant in the room that you might have seen people complaining about on social media, the price of a cop car is ridiculous compared to how much money it can make you. Cop cars cost normally at least $3.5 million in this game. Some of them cost $5 million. And while these missions aren't the only reason you would buy a cop car, I know a lot of players just buy a cop car because it's cool. There's also a lot of players that only bought a cop car specifically to try these missions out. If you spend $3.5 million on a cop car, which is about as cheap as you can get one, you would have to do 140 vigilante missions to pay off that cop car. Keep in mind, they'll probably take you about 3 to 5 minutes, and they're gonna have a 5-minute cooldown, so all up, it's about 10 minutes from starting one mission and then starting the next. Which, in other words, you would have to play these missions for 23.3 hours non-stop to get your money back that you spent on the cop car. It's a tad much, a little much. I really don't see any reason this couldn't work like it did in previous GTA games where you just have to be in a cop car instead of actually having to own the cop car. I would prefer if you could do what you could do in older GTA games where you could steal a cop car and then start one of these missions. The next issue I have with these missions is the fact that you don't even need the cop car at all after you start the mission, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of these missions. If you haven't done one yet, basically, you just need to get in the cop car, press the right analog stick on console, and then press right on the D-pad to start the mission, and then you can hop out of the cop car, return it to the storage, and then call out your Oppressor Mark II, and keep going on the mission. Like, I get it, okay? This is what a lot of people want as well, so that they can complete these missions faster. But I feel like if you're introducing a type of mission into the game that essentially is just roleplay, right? Like you're role-playing as a cop, you shouldn't be able to break that roleplay and then just pull out a futuristic flying vehicle. It really defeats the whole purpose of it. With that said, I am a huge fan of these missions being in the game, and I think they are a good addition, despite the fact that there's some things I would like changed. And I think this is a really good block to build off of going forward, not only with GTA Online, but mainly with GTA 6. I would love to see these in GTA 6 on day one. But yes, I will admit, a little bit disappointed that they don't pay that well and that you don't even need to be in a cop car. And finally, let's talk about the new vehicles. They're new vehicles. Yeah, that's about it. It's kind of hard to get excited for new vehicles in GTA Online right now. None of them are going to change the meta. We know what vehicles are at this point. We've had new vehicles added every couple of months for the past 11 years. Cool, I'm happy that they're coming into the game. I actually did like a couple of these vehicles as well, like the Bolocan Envisage. Definitely going to be using that car a bit, driving around Los Santos, as well as the new cop cars. Pretty cool additions as well. But for me personally, they're not game-changing. So what would I rate this DLC out of 10? Well, I'm not a big fan of rating games. If I had to rate it, I don't know, a 6, maybe 7. 7 might be a bit high. 6-ish, 6.5. I know a lot of people would give it like a 2, but here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing we need to think about with every bit of DLC going forward from here on out. GTA Online is near the end. I've got into some discussions with people on Twitter over the past week about people saying I need to have higher standards for DLCs, and honestly, I completely disagree. Why? Well, because you can't have your cake and eat it too. At least I think that's what the saying is. I don't know. I'm gonna have a look at it. Let me check. Yeah, okay, that's the right saying. Good. I don't know if it's accurate for what I'm trying to say, but I hope it is. What I'm trying to say is you can't expect great, big, revolutionary GTA Online updates like Cayo Perico every single year, and also expect GTA 6 to come out next year and be one of the best games ever. As GTA Online enters its later, or basically last stage of its life, a lot of fans are having a hard time understanding and accepting that, but you gotta realize, I don't know exactly how many people working on this game, but it's not many compared to a few years ago. I'd say at least 90% of Rockstar's main staff are working on GTA 6 right now. And I'd have a hard time believing anyone that would prefer that not to be the case. I don't think there's many people that would prefer they keep working on GTA Online instead of developing GTA 6 and helping that come out faster. The reality is, we got some new content for GTA Online. It's kind of fun. Yes, it's got a lot of downsides, but it is new content. And if you're someone who is not a fan of this DLC, I completely understand it. And I'm kind of there with you in a sense. I understand why you don't like it. But if that is you, just understand that GTA 6 has been confirmed to be coming out in fall of 2025, which means in about 1 year, we are going to be in Vice City. So if you're expecting me to come out here and absolutely slam the Rockstar developers who made this DLC, I'm not going to. Now, don't get me wrong, if GTA 6 comes out and it sucks, I absolutely will go in, because that's what their focus is actually on. If they screw that up, man, I don't even know what to say. That would absolutely suck. So my final thoughts on the DLC, it's okay. It's a mid-tier DLC. To be fair, I think it is the best mid-year DLC we had since Tuners in 2021, but the bar wasn't set very high with Criminal Enterprises in 2022, or with Mercenaries last year in 2023, where they removed 188 vehicles from the game. If you were watching this video to see if you should come back to GTA Online for this DLC, you're not missing out on much, only if you really love the game. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more stuff like this, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Boys!
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade.